What's going on, gangsters? In today's tutorial we're going to learn about adding a title to your page so it's nice and customized besides that boring crap that was up there before. We're going to learn about adding links, also the head elements and the footer element, and we're going to learn about adding attributes to each of these tags. In this tutorial we're going to learn about adding the head element, the footer element, and also about links so you can link to other pages within your website. So let's get started by creating a new page to test out our linking system. And we're just going to go right click, new PHP file, and we're going to title this your first name.html, and let's go ahead and go back to our index.html, copy everything, paste it here, and change this to be something a little bit different, just so we can test that our page works. Okay, so now let's jump back to our index.html file, and as we learned in the last tutorial, there's something called the body, and that's the main content of our page, but we also want to have a header or a head element and a foot element, and I'll tell you about what to put in each one of these elements in a moment. This is going to be our basic structure for pretty much every website that you want. And what you want in the header is generally a title. And what the title is going to be, let me go back to our web page here. What the title is going to be is right up here. Right now it just says localhost.index.html. We might want to change that to be, whatever kind of website we're developing, my bringback or something along those lines. Within the footer, what we want is generally something you want on every page, maybe a link to your social media accounts, maybe an email address or your phone number if it's a website for a business of sorts. So the first thing that we're going to do is change our title of our web page, and we're going to do that within the head attribute, and we're going to just type out title, pretty simple, and we're just going to say my bringback tutorials. So if we save that, go back to our page, reload it, as you can see, we now have my bringback tutorials up there. So it's already looking a little bit more professional. It looks like we have a pretty sweet gig going on. And now we also want to maybe reference that other page. Maybe that's a page to our resume if we're creating a website about ourselves and we want to link to our personal resume website that we created for ourselves. So we're going to do that with a link, and it's pretty simple. The link is an A reference. So you're going to have opening and a closing A, and we're just going to put my resume or something along those lines. Copyright Travis Cornelius. So right now, obviously, this doesn't really do anything. If we save our page, go back and reload it, it doesn't have what you would assume a link would be. We need to add a reference to where this link is going to go when the person clicks on it, and you do that by adding a attribute. So what we want to add is something called an href. This will be the reference to the link that we actually want to go to, and if we put a / that's going to be our root directory, which is localhost, and then we're going to type out the page that we want to go to. So it's going to be travis.html. Now if we save it, go back to our page, it looks like it's a link now, and you can actually click it, and down here you can see it's going to the travis.html page, which is here. Pretty awesome. So we've learned about links. Let's also talk a little bit about what the header tag also involves, because what we can do is actually add style, and this is just a quick preview of what we can do in the future, but we're going to do like something like color, and we want our color to be blue. Save that, and again we're just adding an attribute to our element here, and just reload the page, and as you can see now we have blue text. So that's exactly what CSS does. Eventually we don't want to have all these styles for each element. We're going to actually be able to organize a whole different file for all of our styling and make it nice and clean, easy to refer to, and we're going to load up that file within our header or our head element. So right when our page loads, it loads up all our CSS, loads up all the style of how things are supposed to look, and then it loads up all of our HTML elements, which will be stylized the way that we intended to. Another thing you'll see in the head tag is metadata, and metadata again comes down to SEO and page ranking in Google. You can tell the robots specific information about what the page is about. You can give it an author tag, and link that author tag to, for example, your Google Plus account. And then when you do a Google search, it will pull up a nice picture next to that post if you're in Google, and it will show your Google Plus picture next to the article in the search result. So there's a lot of other things we can do, and we'll probably learn about metadata a little bit later because you won't really see it, you won't really understand what it is, and it's not really too important when you're just trying to learn web development. But it is vital if you're creating a production site. So that's another thing that you'd throw into the head tag. Again, the footer tag, we can stylize this, make it snap to the bottom of the page eventually when we load up that external CSS file within our head tag as well. And we can do a lot of stylizing. Like I said, you can put social media or maybe a different navigation down in the footer as well. And so that's kind of the information that you can put in the footer tag. And actually, I'm sorry, this footer tag is supposed to be at the bottom of your body tag. So we're actually going to cut that out and delete that extra line and put it within the bottom of our body tag. Again, we want to keep things organized, so we're just going to tab everything over, and that's where the footer placement should be. Again, it's a pretty simple tutorial, and so we've learned about adding different attributes to our elements to either change the style for the example in the H1 example, or adding a external link, the reference to where you want to go. And again, it's a pretty quick, pretty simple tutorial. We also learned about the title and changing things up here. The next tutorial we'll probably learn about images and getting into some more things that we can see when we reload our page and make it nice and pretty. Thanks again for watching, guys, and if you enjoy these tutorials, please share these links out with your friends or on social media. Throw up some graffiti around town or something, or not. The choice is yours. But again, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Have a great rest of your day.